Hello, I'm Thomas from collaboratewiththomas.com, the website for my life coaching services. Today is September 18th, 2022, and it's the first episode for the video streaming channel here where we will explore lots of aspects of our well-being, but especially the art of authentic living. And simply put, to me, the art of authentic living refers to living the lives that we're meant to live. It sounds really easy, and yet I imagine we all struggle from time to time, feeling like we don't belong, struggling with all types of life decisions, maybe career choices, relationships, transitions, sometimes just struggling to go forward with interest and joy. And if those feelings are ever serious and debilitating, it's important to reach out to a licensed psychotherapist. But if the situation doesn't require therapy, it might be a great idea to work out or to reach out for a life coach. My wife here in North Carolina, she's a licensed psychotherapist, but I prefer the role of life coach. For many years, I was a classroom teacher, worked with students of various ages, and sometimes worked with their families to try to help individuals tap into their potential. And it was through that experience that I realized that I wanted to give up a curriculum of English literature and reading and writing and step more deeply into a curriculum of consciousness, working with individuals who would be willing to reach out to me, individuals who are demonstrating that they're seeking something more, are willing to do the work, but are just looking for a partner to help them through that passage. So I mentioned the idea of authentic living, and I maintain that a lot of our struggles stem from being a little bit out of touch from time to time with who we truly are. And if you think about it, we're bombarded with external messages in our culture, and now with our phones, with social media, we're really bombarded with external messaging to the extent that it would be easy for a lot of us, if not all of us, at least from time to time, to get pulled out of our own grounding, our own knowing, and to get pulled into false messaging that's not really in the sweet spot of who we're called to be. And so when people reach out to therapists and life coaches, I think it can be really helpful. And the work that I like to do with most of my clients, a lot of my clients, is to bring them back, if I can, invite them back into that knowing on the inside, where all the answers, I suggest, are alive and well. It's a knowing that's beyond words, beyond language. It's that intuition, it's that gut feeling, and it's the difference between the mind or the head's knowing. That's language, that's data that we collect from external reference points. that knowing is one type, but versus the deeper knowing inside. It's not an either or proposition, it's both and. We need both of those, I'll use the word technologies. But it's my casual observation that in our culture, there's such an emphasis, especially perhaps with younger people, to be a certain way, to be successful, and that success stresses the external, and it's easy to get pulled out and to lose touch with the internal knowing, the heart space. I'll share with you a quote from Socrates, the 3rd century BC Greek philosopher. And I think he was pointing at this idea. And allegedly he said something like this: true wisdom begins in realizing that you know nothing. True wisdom begins in realizing that you know nothing. I kept seeing that quote. Have you ever seen something over and over again, and all of a sudden you realize maybe my guides, maybe the universe is trying to tell me something? So I've spent a lot of time over the last 10 or more years really reflecting on that quote. And where it's taken me is an understanding that the knowledge in our heads is different than the knowledge in our hearts. Socrates is saying wisdom begins in realizing that we know nothing, but if wisdom begins with letting go of this, where is the wisdom? I suggest it resides inside. So when a client reaches out to me, I invite them to share their story. I really enjoy being a witness to their story, to ask the right questions, to help bring out awareness, and to just be with them for a while, like holding a flashlight on a dark pathway. I'll hold the flashlight, and here's a path to the left, here's one straight ahead, here's one to the right. Now you take some time and listen to yourself, and let's figure out where you want to go. Well, it'll be good to visit for 5 or 10 minutes. There's a lot more to say about this topic, but I think that's just about right for today. Thanks for joining me, and I'd love to hear from you if you'd like to reach out. My email is collaboratewiththomas@gmail.com, and again, my website is simply collaboratewiththomas.com. Thanks for joining me, and I'll see you next time.